Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Nurse Lee, and on my channel I talk about nursing, beauty, and lifestyle. So if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, please do so right now. Thank you, and the notification bell below, and you will be notified when I post my videos. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how I passed my NCLEX using UWorld. So if you're interested to know how I utilized UWorld to pass my NCLEX, please stay tuned. So when I was looking for study materials to use to study for my NCLEX, I was stuck between Kaplan and UWorld. So I did a little bit of research to know the pros and cons about Kaplan and the pros and cons about UWorld. And through my research, I found that the cons for Kaplan outweighed UWorld. So I left Kaplan alone and stuck with UWorld. And it was to my greatest advantage that it helped me passing my NCLEX on the first try. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about UWorld and how I navigated through as I used it to study each day. So when you go on the UWorld website, they have different options that you can purchase depending on how long you want to study, and whether you're studying for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months. Just pick the plan that is best for you, and the more time you need to study, the greater the price will be, if that makes sense. I chose, if I can remember correctly, I know I chose the assessment that had over 2,000 questions and 2 practice assessments. So I chose that one. I can't really remember how much it was at the time, but if you go on their website, it'll break it all down for you, and you can choose the plan that best will work best for you. So I chose, like I said, the one that had 2 assessments, and I took the first assessment before I actually started studying for my NCLEX exam, and then about 2 weeks prior to taking my NCLEX exam, I took the second assessment just to see how far I've come with my studies. So that's just how I did it, and I would advise you to do it that way as well. It's like I looked at it as a pre-test. So like I took the pre-test, which is the first assessment prior to studying, and then the post-test after I did all my studying, and there was a dramatic difference in a good way. And the reason I did it that way is to like gauge where my weaknesses were versus my strengths. So after I did the pre-test, which was assessment number 1, I went through to see where my weakness was, so that as I would study, I would focus. I can't talk today. So that as I was studying, I would focus on my weakness first, and then get into, my strengths later on down the line as I would study, which was very helpful. I have everything listed out on my phone in case you keep seeing me look down, just to keep everything organized. So when I was using UWorld, I started studying system by system, and they do a good job of breaking that down. So they have the subjects, and then under the subjects, you can choose which system you would like to study. I personally, when I first started studying, I did not mix up the systems. For example, if I chose the subject adult health, I would choose one system to focus on, for example, cardiovascular system. So I would study all the practice questions and information under cardiovascular, take my notes, and then I would move on to like respiratory system. Then I would study everything under the respiratory system, take my notes, make sure everything aligned there. Then I would move on to like the GI system or the musculoskeletal system. So I started studying system by system, and UWorld did a great job breaking all that down for me, taking my notes as I went along, and that just kept everything organized for me. But then as I advanced on and it was getting closer and closer to my exam, I had to mix up the system because we all know that NCLEX is not making, the NCLEX exam is not that easy. They're not going to make it that easy for you, whereas though they're giving you questions system by system. No, they're all mixed up. So I took it upon myself to mix up everything. As I was taking my practice questions, I would, they give you the option to choose more than one system. So if you click adult health, you can even choose more than one subject if I'm not mistaken. So let's say you want to do adult health mixed with peds, and they'll let you choose, you know, which systems, and then you can take some questions on adult health mixed with some questions in peds, mixed with some questions in OB, mixed with some questions in mental health. So that's how I did it. As time went along, I would make sure my questions were all mixed up so that I'm not so focused on, oh, it needs to be this, you know, system by system, because like I said, NCLEX has all the questions randomized and mixed up. Also, what I loved about UWorld, I really, really loved their rationales. Their rationales were very clear and easy for me to follow. They have very clear visuals on what they're explaining to you. So if you don't understand something you read, 9 times out of 10, they have a visual as well to show you. If you're a visual learner, then you can learn best that way as well. They do have audio as well for some things that you can listen to, which is also great. So I think it fits everyone's learning style, in my opinion. But yeah, the rationales really helped me out a lot. If I got a question wrong, I would really read the rationales, and they would break down why each question is wrong. And they would even tell you why the one that is right is correct as well. So you'd be like, oh, okay, so this is why this question is correct. And then this is why this question is incorrect. So that's very helpful when you're studying for an exam, so that when you are taking your actual exam, then you will not make the mistake of choosing the wrong answer. As I was going along with my studies and it was time for me to remediate, I had my handy dandy notebook, and I was taking notes upon notes upon notes that I knew that would be very important to study looking back. And I was just like, all right, as I'm reading these rationales, I need to write down the takeaways, you know, the key points here, so that each and every day I would study those takeaways, the key points, to make sure that it's really ingrained in my brain. So that was very helpful as well. Writing down key points really helped me out as well. So when I first started with UWorld, I would do the questions in tutor mode. So they have where you can do the questions in either tutor mode or timed. And I would start off in tutor mode, but that's when you answer the question, and when you click submit, it reveals the correct answer to you right away. And I found that that was slowing me down just a bit. So I would be like, you know what, let me just do this as a timed test, because that also helped me with time management as well, to see how long it takes me to answer like 50 questions or 75 questions. And it made me more comfortable when I went to go take the NCLEX exam. So the tutor mode wasn't really helpful for me, but the timed mode, I like that better, because it gave me a chance to answer all the questions without them showing me the right answer right away. And then at the end of it all, I would then review and see the ones I got wrong and then the ones I got right. And then I would remediate from there. Instead of like having to stop after each question to write down something or read the rationale, I prefer to do it at the end of taking the practice questions that I picked out for the day. So it's your preference, however you like to do it. If you prefer tutor mode, then that's fine. But me personally, I found that me, you know, doing it in the timed mode better prepared me for my NCLEX exam. And after each question, UWorld did a good job of, let's say you're ready to see the correct answers, and you hit submit and they show you the correct answer. At the end of the correct answer, or should I say at the end of the rationale, they have what we call education objective. And that's just a good summary of the whole question they were asking in general. Like they just break it down to giving you like a summary objective. I think they call it education objective after they give you the rationale for each question. They also give you like the objective as well. So I read that as well, and that summed everything up for me for each question. So all in all, in my opinion, UWorld was very easy for me to navigate. It was clear. It wasn't difficult. It didn't give me a hard time as a study tool. And it actually it's a similar layout to NCLEX. When I went to take my NCLEX exam, I was looking like, this layout is looking similar to UWorld, which was to my advantage because it was easy for me to navigate through my NCLEX exam as well in terms of the layout and the formatting. They did not have the same questions at all because I believe the NCLEX exam, they just pull from a huge test bank of questions, randomized, that you don't know which question you're going to get. So they were not the same questions. Similar, I can say similar, but they were not the same. But the formatting, the layout was similar to the UWorld layout, and formatting was similar to the NCLEX layout as well. So that was also good as well. Yeah, so if you're having difficulty choosing a study tool, definitely do your research to know what best fits your learning style. Like I said, UWorld fit my learning style, and it helped me pass my NCLEX on the first try. So if you do choose UWorld, I have confidence that you'll pass your NCLEX. You'll do well. Just do practice questions every day, and they have over 2,000 questions, and I think I did, if not all 2,000 questions, very close to the 2,000 questions. Like, I tried to knock out all the questions, and which better prepared me because I exposed myself to questions after questions after questions, which built my confidence in how to answer NCLEX style questions. Because we all know, if you've graduated nursing school, you know that NCLEX style questions can be very tricky because there can be more than one correct answer, and that always tripped me up in nursing school. So when you expose yourself to as many questions as possible, you should do fine on your NCLEX exam. And before I forget to mention, 2 weeks prior to me going to take my NCLEX exam, I added on another resource. After I was done with UWorld, I added on another, or almost done with UWorld, I should say. I added on another resource, and that resource, I went on to the NCSBN website, the people who actually create the NCLEX exam, to do more practice questions. It's only right. They're the ones who make the exam, so why not practice their own questions? So if you go to the ncsbn.org website, under resources, I actually have it pulled up on my phone. It says NCSBN's review for the NCLEX-RN examination, and they have like online courses you can take and you can pay for them, but I think I chose like a 2-week or no more than 3-week course, and I paid for it. I don't think it was like $50. I paid for it, and then it's actually like, it has lessons, like they break it down, lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, and then a practice exam. I didn't go through the lessons because I didn't feel like I had enough time to go through lessons. I was more so eager to take their practice questions. So I skipped through the lessons and I took their practice questions under each, under each lesson. And that worked well for me. Like I said, I was more so interested in just taking their practice exams. So I skipped through the lessons, did the practice questions, and I exposed myself to even more practice questions from the people who actually create the NCLEX exam. So take that advantage and visit their website, go to their resources, and utilize their resources to help you better prepare for your NCLEX exam. So yes, you all, that is all I did to pass my NCLEX on the first try. Like I said, I didn't utilize too many resources just so I can stay organized and not overwhelm myself. I stuck to UWorld. UWorld worked great for me. And if you decide to use it, I hope it works great for you. And I have confidence that you will pass your NCLEX on the first try if you use UWorld. Thank you all so much for joining me. I really, really hope this video was helpful for you all. If you found it helpful, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. And I wish you all the best of luck on your NCLEX exam. Thank you for joining me. Bye.